Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Snakebite. I'm James Simpson. This is Carl Van Gelder. It's our second to last show. Spring sports are well under the way. In fact, our golf team's in postseason play right now. So, should be a good show. Let's roll that intro.
Women's lacrosse continues to do what women's lacrosse does, win. To close the regular season, they traveled to Boca Raton to take on the number 13 Lynn Fighting Knights and obviously got the dub, claiming their 7th regular season conference title in program history. In this game, the high-powered Mocs offense showed out with huge performances from Jackie Stoller and Madison Terrett, two players who will need to continue their high level of play as postseason play starts. But let's get back to the matchup against Lynn, where it started off back and forth after the Mocs scored a minute in. Lynn answered with 2 goals of their own and continued to do so until the end of the first quarter, where the Mocs led by just 1 going into the second. When the second quarter started, the Lynn offense got right back to work, evening everything up 45 seconds into the quarter. Then the Mocs came alive with, guess who? Jackie Stoller coming through with one of her 6 goals on the day. In the second quarter, Stoller scored 3 goals and helped open the game up, with Florida Southern heading into half up 6 following an 8-3 second quarter. In the third, we saw the Mocs continue to add to their total with 5 goals before easing off in the fourth, scoring just 2 goals to end the game off on top in a 22-17 win. And I talked about them earlier, but Jackie Stoller and Terrett, they've just done a great job all year at peaking at the right time. They combined for 17 points in this one, and they're going to be more than a force to be reckoned with going into the tournament.
Yeah, they're going into that tournament number 1 seeded, but let's not forget, defense wins championship, and a name we haven't said that much this season is Audrey Kennelly, just because she's been sneaky good. She's had a huge defensive game last weekend with game highs in both ground balls and turnovers forced with 4 apiece, en route to her first ever SSC Women's Lacrosse Defensive Player of the Week. So we'll get to see them start the postseason play soon, right?
And James, you talked about it. Postseason play and defense is a huge part of postseason success, and we saw a lot of postseason success last year. Defense wins championships. We won the SSC Championship last year, runners-up in the National Championship. But SSC Championship play will start soon, and it'll be here in Lakeland, Florida, between 2 familiar foes, Lynn Fighting Knights, Florida Southern Moccasins, here Thursday, 4 p.m. Be there or be square.
Yeah, and another team that looks to be peaking at the right time is that men's lacrosse team. They looked great to start postseason play. In what felt like an upset, just because of how it's been going, it wasn't. The Mocs were the 4th seed, St. Leo the 5th, but it felt like a huge win. They took on St. Leo to open the SSC tournament, where they made quick work of the Lions. Heading into the 4th, the Mocs led 19-10. Thanks to over 5-point efforts from both Brendan Glasser and Bryden Robichaud, and 11 ground balls from the Chizster, Jacob Chiz. The Lions would try to claw their way back into that one, scoring 5 in the 4th, but it would prove to be too little too late, as your Mocs would hold on to win 20-15. They're going to look to build off that season-high scoring performance as they head into the second round of the tournament at number 1, University of Tampa, who historically have wiped the floor with the Moccasins. But April 24th at 4 p.m. in Tampa, they'll have an opportunity to rewrite the script.
And softball unfortunately couldn't carry the winning ways for the Mocs this past weekend, with them losing the series to Nova after a strong series against Lynn. Against Nova, they were swept in the 3-game series in Fort Lauderdale, and the first game was the closest of the 3, with the Mocs losing 0-5. The next 2 ended early due to the run rule in collegiate softball, where if a team is up 8 runs at the end of an inning from the 5th inning onward, the game can then be called by umpires, and it was. The game that showed the most promise for the Mocs, though, was in the second game of the series, where the Mocs possessed their lone lead of the series after scoring an early run in the first inning. But in the bottom of the second, the Sharks responded with 2 runs of their own before winning dominantly 10-2 in the 6th inning. The softball team will return to action this Friday at Chris Bellato Field against Embry-Riddle, who possess a 10-11 in conference record. In their meeting last year, the Mocs got their first series win ever against the Golden Eagles, coming away with wins in the first and final game of the series, which was held down in Daytona Beach.
On the men's diamond, they also hosted Nova Southeastern, that's the baseball team, and it was a series to forget, which seems to be the story of the 2024 campaign. The first game of the series was a long one. It took well over 3 hours and 40 minutes due to the lack of pitching from both sides. There were a total of 28 runs scored in Friday's contest as your Mocs lost 18-10. But then the offense would stall out in the next two games as they would lose both Saturday's game 8-3 and Sunday's game 5-2. After a bleak weekend for the Mocs, Bryce Safrowicz and Chris McKenna proved to be bright spots. As Safrowicz went 6 for 10 on the weekend, McKenna went 5 for 12 from the plate. The baseball team only has 3 series left, with their record currently sitting at 14-25. They'll be looking to drum up some momentum for next season, starting this weekend against Embry-Riddle University.
And the women's golf team, they're one of the teams that have been winning for the Mocs, and they more than took care of business at the Sunshine State Conference Championships, placing 3rd overall in what was more than a stacked golf conference. Leading the way for them was junior Ashley Angelo, who placed 4th overall, shooting just 1 over and earning herself SSC All-Tournament honors. Angelo led the tournament in pars with 39, but she wasn't the only Moc with a strong performance, as Claire Gimple in her SSC Championship debut placed 14th, and Taylor Zachary tied for 23rd overall, in great part due to her team leading and second in the field 11 birdies. With their 3rd place finish, the Mocs defeated 4 top 25 teams, including 2 top 10 teams in Rollins College and Lynn University. They'll look to keep rolling in the regional as they await for selections to be made for the South Regional Tournament up in Cleveland, Tennessee. They'll be played May 6th through the 8th.
Now, the men's golf team conference play just underway. They sit 4 strokes off the lead at Sunshine State Conference Championships after finishing a very strong second round at the Osprey Point Golf Club. 4 out of 5 Mocs are currently placed in the top 20, with Tyler Mistretta in the front shooting 2 under on Monday. Adam Alvarez's play moved him up in the rankings with a score of 1 under, and Dante Grapusso scored an even par on the day, placing right next to his fellow Mocs in the top 20. Nova Southeastern's Michael Hay holds a 3-stroke lead on the field, and NSU is tied for first alongside St. Leo and Lynn. The Mocs currently sit in 6th at the time of recording, but they're looking to move up, so for our final results, be sure to check FSCMocs.com. And then as for women's tennis, they went out on a high note in their final match of the year, demolishing a number 49 ranked Rollins College team, winning 6-1. In the match, they dominated doubles play, winning every match before continuing to roll in singles play, and roll they did, not giving the Tars a chance to make a comeback, winning 3 out of their 5 single matches in just 2 sets. The Mocs who won in 2 sets include Rhonda Schuerman, Kelly Claren, and Beatrice Costa. And unfortunately, despite this in-conference win, they will just miss out on the conference tournament.
And the men's tennis team fell to number 8 ranked Barry University in their final match of the regular season. The Mocs struggled mightily, losing 7-0 in the combined doubles and singles play. The doubles pairing put up a fight, though, with Inaki Brown-Simo and Bosco Boskovic losing 6-4, Matteo Feggi and Ryan Rajiker falling 7-5, and Chris Falkow and Mario Garros coming up short with a 7-6 match. Singles play wasn't much of a battle, with George Russell getting bested 6-1 and 6-2 in his matches, as well as Chris Falkow falling to Lynch 6-2 and 6-3. The men have a chance to get some revenge as they'll face off against Barry in the first round of the SSC Championships starting Friday the 26th at home at the Bierman Family Tennis Complex in Lakeland, Florida. And the men, that's going to be a tough matchup for them. That Barry team, no joke, James, and we talked about it a lot this year.
They're good, but I kind of like that matchup. They floundered a little bit this season, even though they've been fantastic over the last years. I don't know, I kind of like the Mocs in the opening round with the upset.
And we've seen David and Goliath feats a lot this year. Shout out the men's basketball team taking down Nova Southeastern. And let's not forget about cross country, number 2 in the region, SSC champs this year. But we have a lot more in store for this coming week. Don't worry, we mentioned it. We'll be back. And the track team, they're also back in action. They're going up to UNF. James, you're going to be involved in that.
Yes.
Final collegiate track meet. And we'll be sure to have those times for you and more results here on the Snakebite.